This video is about dividing polynomials using synthetic division. This is an alternative to dividing polynomials using long division. So this will allow you to do this division a little bit quicker when we do what's called synthetic. Okay, so our problem that we have is to find the quotient q of x and remainder r of x by using synthetic division. We are going to start by looking at our divisor. So our divisor here is x minus 2, and divisors are written as x minus c format. So what we first want to find is what is c in this problem. And obviously, if you have x minus 2, our c will be 2. Once you find that, you're going to write that over to the side to get our synthetic division started. Now, the way that I do this is a little bit different than maybe what some of the books do in terms of what I'm going to draw next. So I'm going to draw a little box here. Sometimes you'll see them draw, it'll look like that. But this is my way. You do it whatever way you feel comfortable doing. Okay. So the first thing we're doing is finding the c, and we're putting it in a little box. Now out to the side, we are going to put all of the coefficients of the dividend. So the dividend is all this expression on top here in the numerator. So our coefficients, again, do not include the variable. So we are going to just list out all of these coefficients. So we've got 5, -4, -3, -19, and 1. Okay, so once you've got all of your coefficients listed out to the side, you then want to skip a line or skip a little space and then draw a line. So we're going to skip a line and draw a line. Okay, so the next step in doing synthetic division is bringing down the first coefficient you have here. So we're going to bring down the 5. Then anything on this line, okay, anything that's going to fall on this line is going to be multiplied by c. Okay, so every time that you have something here, we are going to multiply by c here. Okay, all right, so let's do that. 2 times 5 is 10. Now you're going to put that underneath the next number. Okay, so 2 times 5 is 10. Now we are going to add. So every time we go down and have two numbers lined up, we are adding. This is slightly different than long division where you would change the sign and subtract. Here we're going to just use the signs we already have. So -4 plus 10 is 6. We're at the bottom again with a number. So we want to again take this number 6 and multiply it by the 2. So 2 times 6 is going to be 12. We're going to write that under the next number that we have, our -3. Now we've got two numbers lined up, and again, we're going to add going down. So -3 plus 12 is going to give you 9. Okay, now that we're at the bottom, we're going to multiply again. So multiplying by this 2 in the box over here, 2 times 9 gives you 18, and we're writing it underneath the next coefficient we have, which is -19. And now we're adding again. So I won't write these little arrows every time, but this helps you see the steps. Okay, so -19 plus 18, be very careful here. This is -1. And now we're multiplying again. 2 times -1 is -2. And the last time of adding 1 plus, and you can add a negative, that's okay. 1 plus -2 is -1. Okay? All right. So I stop doing this process when I run out of numbers here, right? So I don't have any numbers over here to keep going, which means I'm done with the problem. Now, the problem itself asks for the quotient q of x and the remainder r of x. We can easily find the remainder because the remainder of this division that you just did, even though you don't really know what the end result looks like yet, because I haven't explained it, the remainder is the very last number. So this is going to be our r of x. We are not going to write this as a fraction as you would if you wrote a whole polynomial. Some of you may have seen that before. We're not going to do that here. We just want to write -1 as the remainder. Now, coming up with the quotient takes a little more thought. we started out with a term 5x to the fourth. And we divided by x minus 2. But forget the 2 for a second. Really, we just divided by x if we're looking in terms of just the variable parts. So if I do that division, then that means my first term in the quotient is going to be 5x to the third. So this 5 right here is going to give me the quotient, the first term in the quotient, 5x to the third. Okay? And then the rest of these numbers are going to give us the rest of the coefficients for the polynomial expression that we're going to have that we're going to call the quotient. Okay? So what do I do from here? We're going to bring down the 6. It's positive, so we're going to add this. And just like here, we went x to the fourth, x to the third, x to the second. We're in a descending order. That's exactly what you're doing here in your answer, in your quotient. So you've got 5x to the third. This is going to be plus 6x squared. Bring down the 9. That's going to be plus 9. Go down a variable. That's going to be x. And then we bring down the negative 1, and that's your constant for the quotient. So your quotient here is 5x cubed plus 6x squared plus 9x minus 1. Okay, so one other way that could be helpful, that if you don't know where to start, let me just show you this real quick. Look at all this list of numbers. Start at the end. That's going to be the constant. And then go backwards. This would be x, and then increase to x squared, and increase to x cubed. Then you don't always have to think about, like what variable you're starting with there. Okay, so that is dividing by using synthetic division. Again, it's synthetic because you're not putting all your variables in there. You're not doing long division. You're really just tackling the coefficients and then interpreting those numbers when you do that synthetic division.